Children, let us begin with our lesson number 6, that is the three orders. This is the part 1 of the chapter. Let us begin with the chapter. The three orders. The focus of this chapter are three social categories, children. In this chapter, we'll be talking about the clergy, that were the Christian priests, the nobility, those were the land-owning nobles, and the peasantry, they were the peasants. The changing relationships between these three groups was an important factor in shaping European history for several centuries. A bishop stated, "Here below, some pray, others fight, still others work." Thus, the three orders of society were broadly the clergy, the nobility, and the peasantry. In this chapter, we shall learn about the socio-economic and political changes also, which occurred in Western Europe between the 9th and the 16th centuries. After the fall of the Roman Empire, dear children, many groups of Germanic people from Eastern and Central Europe occupied regions of Italy, Spain, and France. In the absence of any unifying political force, military conflict was frequent, and the need to gather resources to protect one's land became very important. Social organization was therefore centered now on the control of land. Its features were derived from both imperial Roman traditions and German customs. The church also became a major landholder, and political power also it became where in Europe. Sources to understand medieval European society. Sources to understand the medieval European society. Why did I say it twice? Reason being because some people say it to be medieval and others pronounce it as medieval. There is a lot of material in the form of documents, details of land ownership, prices, and legal cases. Churches had kept records of births, marriages, and deaths. The inscriptions in churches give information about traders' associations. And songs and stories give a sense of festivals and community activities. All these can be used to understand the economic and social life. Mark Bloch and his ideas about European feudalism. Mark Bloch, 1886 to 1944, was one of the earliest scholars of France who worked on the concept of feudalism. He stressed on the importance of geography in determining human history and the requirement to realize the collective activities or approaches of groups of people. His book Feudal Society talks about the European society between 900 and 1300 AD, especially of France. It had significant detailed social relations and hierarchies and land related affairs, and cultural achievements of that period were also in it. An introduction to feudalism. The term feudalism has been used by historians to describe the economic, legal, political, and social relationships that existed in Europe in the medieval era. Derived from the German word feud, which means a piece of land. It refers to the kind of society that developed in medieval France and later in England and in southern Italy. In an economic sense, feudalism refers to a kind of agricultural production which is based on the relationship between lords and the peasants. The latter, that is the peasants, they cultivated their own land as well as that of the lord. The peasants performed labor services for the lords, who in exchange provided them with military protection. They also had extensive judicial control over the peasants. Thus, feudalism went beyond the economic to cover the social and political aspects of life as well. Features of feudalism in Europe. The roots of feudalism can be traced back to the practices that existed in the Roman Empire. Feudalism became an established way of life during the era of French King Charlemagne. It was said to be emerged later and spread in whole Europe later. Name France. Gaul, a province of the Roman Empire, had two extensive coastlines, mountain ranges, long rivers, forests, and large tracts of plain suited to agriculture were all there in Gaul, which was a province of the Roman Empire. The Franks, a Germanic tribe, gave their name to Gaul, making it to be France. From the 6th century, this region was a kingdom ruled by Frankish or the French kings who were Christian. The French had very strong links with the church, which were further strengthened when in 800 the Pope gave King Charlemagne the title of Holy Roman Emperor to ensure his support. The first order now, the clergy. The Christians in Europe were guided by bishops and the clerics, who constituted the first order. The Catholic Church had its own laws, owned land given to it by rulers, and could levy taxes also on them. It was thus a very powerful institution which did not depend on the king. At the head of the Western Church was the Pope. He lived in Rome. Priest and the bishops. Everyone could not become a priest. Serfs were banned, as were the physically challenged also. Women could not become priests. Men who became priests could not marry. Bishops were the religious nobility. Like lords who owned vast landed estates, the bishops also had the use of vast estates, and they lived in grand palaces. Most villages had their own church, where people assembled every Sunday to listen to the sermon by the priest and to pray together. The church was entitled to a tenth share of whatever the peasants produced from the land over the course of the year, called a tithe. This was the name of a tax which the church was entitled to collect from the peasants, which was usually one tenth of the total produce. The act of kneeling while praying with hands clasped and head bowed was an exact replica of the way in which a knight conducted himself while taking vows of loyalty to his lord. Similarly, the use of the term Lord for God was another example of feudal culture that found its way into the practices of the church. Thus, the religious and the lay worlds of feudalism shared many customs and symbols. Monks. Apart from the church, devout Christians had another kind of organization. Some deeply religious people chose to live isolated lives, in contrast to clerics who lived amongst people in towns and villages. So, this was the difference between whom? Between the monks and between the clerics. They lived in religious communities called the abbeys or monasteries, often in places very far from human habitation. Two of the more well-known monasteries were those established by Saint Benedict in Italy. It was in the year 529, and of Cluny in Burgundy in 910. These were the two well-known monasteries of those times. Italy and Burgundy were the places. Monks took vows to remain in the abbey for the rest of their lives and to spend the time in prayer, study, and manual labor like farming. Unlike priesthood, this life was open to both men and women who became men, that is, men became monks and women became nuns. Like priests, monks and nuns did not marry. The term medieval era, it refers to the period in European history between the 5th and the 15th centuries. Children, these are some important words from this part that you people need to know and understand and then learn also. Abbe is derived from the Syriac Abba, meaning father. That is Abba, meaning father. An abbey was governed by an abbot or an abbess. The word monastery is derived from the Greek word monos, meaning someone who lives alone. The three orders of society were broadly the clergy, the nobility, and the peasantry. With this, children, I end this part, that is part 1 of the chapter, The Three Orders. Meet you again with part 2. Thank you.